Everyone, it's Perma Egg Jules here, and we are delighted to say that today's video is brought to you in partnership with Manscaped. But you know what? We're going to have more about that later in the video. When it comes to betrayal, that is pretty much comic books' bread and butter, seeing as there is no easier way to generate some heat than by having somebody stab you in the back. Yet sometimes these betrayals, well, they're kind of telegraphed to the point where, even though we might be shocked to see them play out on the page, there's a bit of us that goes, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. So let's take a look at them. As I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 comic book betrayals we all should have seen coming. Number 10. The Illuminati blast Hulk into space. Incredible Hulk number 91 to 92. Now, years ago, Iron Man, Professor X, Black Bolt, Namor the Submariner, Reed Richards, Professor X, and Doctor Strange formed the Illuminati, a group brought together to discuss matters considered too dangerous for the public to know. Because the Illuminati make difficult or immoral decisions for the greater good, their discussions were kept secret for a long time, even from each member's teams and families. When society grew tired of the Incredible Hulk's relentless rampages, the Illuminati took it upon themselves to get rid of him. After the Jade Giant was lured onto a space station, it sealed shut and blasted across the galaxy. As the spaceship began its journey, its computer played a recording of the Illuminati which informed the Hulk that their decision to banish him from Earth was harsh, but ultimately justified. Even though the green-skinned superhero was obviously furious, you can't actually blame his teammates. After devastating cities and destroying entire worlds over the years, it was only a matter of time before the Hulk's rage resulted in the death of innocents. Considering Hulk shifted the tectonic plates when he returned to Earth 1 year later, nearly imploding the planet, the Illuminati's decision was perfectly reasonable. Number 9. Cyclops kills Professor X. Avengers vs. X-Men number 12. At some point in a major comic book event, an important character usually dies. Flash perished in Crisis on Infinite Earths, Captain America was shot dead in Civil War, Hawkeye died during House of M twice. Even though these deaths are meant to come out of nowhere, some readers do catch on pretty quickly. In Avengers vs. X-Men, the Phoenix Force split its power between 5 mutants: Colossus, Namor, Magic, Emma Frost, and Cyclops. Despite the fact the Phoenix had obliterated entire galaxies, the quintet tried to use the deity's power to benefit the world, but as the Phoenix seeped into Cyclops' mind, he turned on his fellow superheroes. And when Professor Charles Xavier tried to stop him, well, Cyclops killed him. But since Scott Summers is renowned for repressing his emotions, readers knew that he was going to commit some atrocity once he bonded with the Phoenix. Also, his air quotes betrayal to Professor X was a long time coming. Even though Scott was one of the most devoted X-Men, he grew to hate the Professor after learning that his mentor had lied to his students and mind-wiped them multiple times. As a result, this confrontation wasn't all that shocking, it was, instead, inevitable. Number 8. Harry Osborn keeps turning evil. Amazing Spider-Man number 136. When Norman Osborn seemingly died during the 1970s, it appeared to be the end of the Green Goblin, but Spider-Man's nemesis was so popular that there was no way that he wouldn't return in some form. Sure enough, several people have taken the mantle of the Green Goblin, most notably Norman's son, Harry Osborn. Only 1 year after Norman supposedly croaked, Harry followed in his father's footsteps by becoming the new Goblin. When Harry developed amnesia, he forgot about his villainous persona, seemingly ending his tenure as the Green Goblin. However, Harry returned to supervillainy in many story arcs, including Inferno, Best of Enemies, and American Son. In recent comics, Spidey faced off with a seemingly new foe called the Kindred, who was ultimately revealed to also be Harry. Because Harry is Peter Parker's best friend, it's meant to be startling to see him try to kill Spider-Man, but because Harry's been infected with the same goblin formula that drove his old man crazy, it's only a matter of time before he embraces his wicked side again. Anytime something fishy happens with Oscorp and Norman is out of commission, you can bloody well bet that Harry is going to be the one pulling the strings. Number 7. Batman's secret files on all of his teammates. JLA number 43 to 46. During the Tower of Babel storyline, Ra's al Ghul took down the entire Justice League by exploiting their weaknesses. After he froze Plastic Man, crippled Superman with red kryptonite, and made Green Lantern go blind, the remaining Leaguers just couldn't understand how Ra's was able to defeat them so easily. Eventually, the Justice League learned that the deranged alchemist had accessed Batman's dossier and used his data to figure out the simplest way to take down each superhero. The League were horrified, realizing that Batman had analyzed and compiled each member's strengths and weaknesses without their consent. Although Batman stated his data was crucial in case any of the superheroes turned evil, the Justice League felt like the Dark Knight had betrayed their trust and so encouraged him to leave the team. However, Batman's actions aren't actually that surprising because he's Batman. Despite having no superpowers, the cake usually comes out on top because he has a plan for every contingency. Because the League have been brainwashed on multiple occasions, having a system to immobilize them sounds pretty logical. Considering that Superman was mind-controlled shortly after and nearly killed innocent people, it would be unreasonable for Batman not to learn how to incapacitate his teammates.
Oh yeah, that's the spot. Oh, sorry, you just caught me using the Manscaped Weed Whacker there, which reminds me that today's video is actually sponsored by Manscaped.com. Now, as we return to the What Culture offices, Manscaped have had us covered to make us sure that we're returning as the very best versions of ourselves that we can possibly be. As you can probably tell, we're all feeling pretty good about ourselves, and it's all down to the Manscaped Performance Package 4.0, which I have right here. Now, my favorite bit of kit is the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer. With a design as sleek and as smooth as my downstairs now is, this should be the center of your entire grooming regime. That's because the 4.0's replaceable ceramic blades with skin-safe technology and an LED light means that you can trim with confidence and see everything you're trimming so you don't end up with like a mullet down there or something. I don't know what that would look like, but it probably would look bad. It's also great for beard maintenance. It comes with this nifty wireless charging dock and it has a travel lock for when you're on the go. Just tap it 3 times and you're safe to be on the move. Out of the shower, the Manscaped Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant has clear, drying moisturizing to make sure your downstairs stays fresh all day. On the other hand, or ball I guess, there's the Crop Reviver Ball Toner Spray with cooling aloe vera for your midday refresh so you're smelling good all day. Delicious. Now, nothing can ruin the vibe more than stray hairs sticking out of here and here. Fortunately, Manscaped's Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer solves that problem, and it comes with skin-safe technology as well, so it doesn't tug or leave your eyes watering while you're going. And for a limited time only, you can get 2 free gifts with your offer: the Shed travel bag for when you're on the go, and these anti-chafe Manscaped boxer shorts, which are just chef's kiss. Finally, sign up to the Peak Hygiene plan, and you can even get replenishments of your favorite products delivered straight to your door hassle-free. So go to manscaped.com today to get 20% off and free international shipping, and of course these 2 free gifts when you use our promo code WAT20 at the checkout. That's the promo code WAT20 when you check out. For now though, I guess, well, back to that video.
Number 6. Doctor Strange Mind Wipes Captain America. New Avengers number 3. Because Marvel's Illuminati have to work in a very grey area, Iron Man never asked Captain America to join, knowing his uncompromisable morals would conflict with the group's decision-making. Sure enough, Steve Rogers flew into a rage when he learned about Tony Stark's covert think tank, believing that his teammates had betrayed him. But after learning about the imminent dangers which put the whole universe at risk, Cap reluctantly agreed to ally with the Illuminati. But when Tony learned their universe was going to clash with another, he urged the group to destroy the opposing reality to survive. Unsurprisingly, the star-spangled superhero rejected this idea, saying that they should find another way. Because of his defiance, Tony acknowledged that it was a mistake to have invited him into the team. Immediately after Cap made his intentions clear, Tony ordered Doctor Strange to erase his memory, leaving him with no recollection of his time with the Cabal. However, we all knew that this was going to happen the instant that Cap learned of the Illuminati's existence. Considering the group chooses who lives or who dies, Cap's unwavering principles was always going to pose a problem. Number 5. Ozymandias is the Mask Killer. Watchmen number 10 and 11. Alan Moore's Watchmen takes place in a world that was filled with superheroes until vigilanteism was criminalized. When an ex-vigilante called the Comedian is found murdered, his former ally Rorschach believes that someone is picking off costumed heroes. When Rorschach shares his mask killer theory with his team, the Crime Busters, they assume that he's just being paranoid. But when their old teammate Adrian, aka Ozymandias, is nearly assassinated, the Crime Busters realize Rorschach is actually onto something. However, we learn in the climax that the mask killer is none other than Ozymandias himself. He explains to his friends that he staged the assassination attempt so that no one would suspect that he was the one who murdered the Comedian. However, it was actually obvious that he was the killer since there was literally nobody else it could have been. Considering every hero was helping Rorschach save for Adrian, he was the only suspect. Because Ozzy emphasizes that he can catch a bullet with his bare hands, it wasn't actually far-fetched to consider that he faked an assassination to throw his friends off. Watchmen may be hailed as one of, if not the greatest graphic novel ever, but the Who whodunit subplot is disappointingly predictable. Number 4. Captain America joins Hydra. Captain America Steve Rogers number 1 and 2. The reveal that Captain America was secretly a Hydra agent caused the biggest stir in Marvel Comics in years. The idea that the most moral superhero would not only join, but would lead the world's biggest terrorist organization shook many readers to their core. However, there were some fans who weren't actually surprised in the least, but they didn't think that this twist was obvious because it was foreshadowed. Some readers suspected that Marvel would just try something like this for one simple reason, and that was that comic sales are in massive decline. Even though the MCU is dominating cinema, comics haven't been selling for years. Out of desperation, publishers have recently tried the usual gimmicks such as mini-series crossovers, first-issue relaunches, and relaunching entire universes. And what better way is there to get comic fans talking than by using the classic good guy turns bad angle? Even though the Secret Empire storyline was reviled by almost everyone, a lot of people bought the comic to see what the fuss was all about. However, this is a problem since the comic's success will give publishers more incentive to churn out stories centered around shock value rather than character and plot. Number 3. XORN is Magneto. New X-Men number 146. While in China, the X-Men freed a psychic mutant called XORN from prison. When XORN's powers manifested, his brain turned into a tiny star, which can create a destructive black hole if he removes his helmet. When Cyclops asked XORN to join the X-Men, the mysterious mutant happily accepted. Because of his Zen-like philosophy and calm demeanor, Professor X's students instantly made their new teammate feel welcome. But several years later, XORN was revealed to be none other than Magneto. Like a wolf in sheep's clothing, the master of magnetism tricked the X-Men into inviting him into their home so that he could destroy them from within. However, the X-Men and the readers should have actually seen this twist coming simply because of the timing. Before this point, Magneto was believed to have died in Genosha after the island was destroyed by a Sentinel. And when did X-Men discover XORN? 1 month after Magneto mysteriously disappeared. Considering the professor couldn't read XORN's face and the fact that this new mutant could move metal objects with his mind, also probably should have set off about 100 flags. Number 2. Jason Todd betrays Batman over and over. Jason Todd started his superhero career as Batman's second Robin, but because of his temper, it wasn't long before he butted heads with his mentor. Even though Bats lives by a no-kill rule, Jason refused to see eye to eye and thus reinvented himself as a murderous anti-hero called Red Hood. Even though Jason only killed rapists and serial killers, his actions violated Batman's principles, causing the pair to become sworn enemies. But over the years, the Dark Knight convinced Jason that he could do more good by rejoining the Bat family. But after Bruce Wayne seemingly died, Todd declared himself as the new Batman and started using lethal force against criminals. Luckily, Batman's sidekicks encouraged Jason to stop until he'd shot the Penguin point blank in the face. But then, Jason became a force of good again until he blew the Joker's brains out. Don't worry, he got better. Well, as better as you can get if you're the Joker. Even though each of these incidents was meant to be shocking, they weren't actually out of character. Since Jason Todd has always been a loose cannon, it's not a question if he will kill again, but actually when. And number 1, every Joker team-up ever. The idea that Batman would ever ally with the Joker sounds inconceivable. However, we all know that Bats would do anything to save the day, even buddying up with the deranged Jester. In The Batman and the Bold, number 191, the pair teamed up for the first time after the Clown Prince of Crime was framed for Penguin's murder. Although this should have been a one-time thing, readers loved watching sworn enemies working together. As a result, DC Comics had Batman partnering up with the Joker again and again. Over the years, the two of them have been forced to ally against Ra's al Ghul, Advanced Man, and the Batman Who Laughs. When they were poisoned by the same virus in Batman Europa, they traveled the globe for a cure. Because most of these team-ups involve Batman saving Joker's life, you'd think that they could find some way to bury the hatchet. But of course, this is the Joker we're talking about, so that is never going to happen. Every time they pair up, you can practically see the Mad Clown looking for the opportunity to stab the Dark Knight in the back. So when Joker makes his move and turns on Batman, absolutely no one in the slightest is a bit surprised. And there we go, my friends. Those were 10 comic book betrayals we all should have seen coming. I hope that you enjoyed that, and please let me know what you thought about it down in the comment section below. As always, I've been Jules. You can go follow me over on Twitter at RetroJ or you can swing by Live and Let's Dice, where I do all of my streaming outside of work, as well as my Warhammer content. If you're into that sort of thing, it'd be great to see you over there. As always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome. Never forget that, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.